A common problem that lots of guitarists face once they've learnt all 5 shapes of the pentatonic scale is that they can't fluidly connect the shapes together in their soloing. They'll move from one particular shape to another shape, but they won't seamlessly transition between them. And this video is going to really help out with that. Now, the key to really being able to fluidly move across the fretboard with the pentatonic scale is to not think of the pentatonic scale as 5 individual shapes, but to try and find patterns within the shapes that allow you to seamlessly transition between the shapes. Now, in today's video, we're going to be playing in A minor. We're going to be using the A minor pentatonic scale. And if you're looking for tabs for everything, they'll be on the screen, but also you can check them down in the description at my Patreon page. I said we've got to look for patterns, so let me show you the first pattern that we're going to be using. We're playing in A minor, and we're going to be starting on the 3rd fret of the low E string, which is the flat 7th of our minor pentatonic scale. And we're going to be playing 3-5 on the low E string, and then 3-5-7 on the A string. And that is the first shape. And all we're going to do is play that an octave higher. So we're going to play the exact same shape starting at the 5th fret of the D string. So that's 5-7 on the D string, and then 5-7-9 on the G string. And then we're going to play the exact same thing an octave higher again, and that's going to be the 8th fret of the B string to the 10th fret of the B string, and then 8, 10, 12 on the high E string. So altogether we've got... And as you can see, we are playing the same exact thing 3 times, just an octave higher each time. It's the same shape repeated. Already, if we just play that, we can create a really cool run. But what you can do is you can create a pattern with the first set. So for example, let me create a pattern with the first 2 strings, and it's going to look like this. Okay, so I'm not just running up the scale, I am playing the first 4 notes of that shape, then going back to the 2nd note, and then ascending again. So, and I can repeat that on the other 2 shapes. And then and you get something that sounds like that. But you can get more interesting with this. Here's another lick that I created. It's a triplet kind of feel. And what we're doing is we're starting on the highest shape, and we're going from the highest note of that shape, which is the 12th fret of the E string, to the lowest note of that shape, which is the 8th fret of the B string. And then we're going to be playing the 10th fret of the E string to the 8th fret of the E string, and then the 10th fret of the B string to the 10th fret of the B string. So we get that, and then you just repeat that on the other shapes. And then you can get this kind of sound. And you can see we've gone from the 12th fret of the high E string all the way down to the 3rd fret of the low E string, just by using these shapes, because it's an easy pattern that you can memorize, and it's really good for flowing across the fretboard using the pentatonic scale. And this isn't to say that the 5 pentatonic shapes aren't useful. They are definitely useful when you're playing in a certain area of the fretboard. But if you want to be able to transition across the fretboard smoothly, it's probably better to create these patterns for yourself, and they'll allow you to move up and down the fretboard more gracefully, rather than just playing in one shape, then playing in another shape, then playing in another shape. Now, I have one more shape that I'm going to be showing you, and this one looks like this. We're going to be playing 8, 10, 12. This is still the A minor pentatonic scale. I guess this is technically the C major pentatonic scale that we're playing, but it's also the A minor pentatonic scale. And it is 8, 10, 12 on the low E string, and then 10, 12 on the A string. And it's the same concept. We repeat that an octave higher and then another octave higher. So the second set would be 10, 12, 14 on the D string, and then 12, 14 on the G string. And then the third set would be 13, 15, 17 on the B string, and 15, 17 on the high E string. And again, you can create these patterns. So you create a lick with one of the shapes, and then you just use that lick on the second shape and on the third shape as well. And you can create these cool runs that don't just sound like you're just running up the scale. And there's a bit more randomness to it, which makes it more interesting to listen to. So here's one lick that I came up with. What we're going to be doing is playing the first 3 notes. In fact, we're going we're going to be playing all of the notes of the shape. So 8, 10, 12 on the low E string, 10, 12 on the A string, but then we're going to play 12 on the low E string again, then 10, 12 on the A string. So we've got, and then we just repeat that again, 10, 12, 14, 12, 14, 14, 12, 14. And then the same thing, an octave higher. The shape is exactly the same, you're just playing an octave higher there. So altogether the lick would sound something like this. I've created one more lick using this shape, and this one's a bit more of a unique one. It's a septuplet kind of feel, so it's a group of 7 notes, and it's going to really create an interesting sound in your solos. So we're going to be descending for this one. So we're starting on the top E string, we're going to be playing 17, 15, then we're going to be playing 17 on the B string. Then we're going to move back up to the 15th fret of the high E string, and then we're just going to descend the rest of the shape. So 17 on the B string, 15 on the B string, 13 on the B string. And then we repeat that on the next shape. So 14, 12 on the G string, 14 on the D string, then 12 on the G string, 14, 12, 10 on the D string. Then we'll repeat that again one more time on the lowest shape. So 12 on the A string, 10 on the A string, 12 on the E string, then 10 on the A string, then 12, 10, 8 on the low E string. So altogether we get something that sounds like this. I hope that was helpful. You're really going to be able to play across the fretboard with a lot more ease when you're using the pentatonic scale now if you use those 2 shapes. And what I want you to do is to try and create some licks in the same way that I did. I want you to take those 3 sets, just create a lick on one of them, and then just copy and paste that over to the next 2 sets and see if you can create some really interesting sounding runs with that method. And I'm sure you will. And then you can mix in your 5 pentatonic shapes there. So if you reach the top of the first shape, for example, now that 12th fret is in shape number 4 of your minor pentatonic scale. So you can just, shape 3 I mean. So you can just play that, stay there if you want to, or you can just descend again. The options are limitless really. So go and use those in your solos, and if you enjoyed the video, click like, let me know what you thought in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well. And also, if you go down into the description, I've got the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, for free. You can check that out. There's some really cool info in there. And I'll see you in the next video.